Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Kimberly George, and I am Sedgwick's Global Chief Brand Officer and host of Sedgwick's podcast and today's conversation. For those of us in the United States, the 2025 hurricane season is upon us. According to the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, we should expect above normal hurricane activity. In addition to hurricanes, we have experienced tornadoes every month since February with over 60 fatalities. 2025 has also been plagued by floods and fires, and NASA data reveals a dramatic rise in intensity of weather events. With that backdrop, there's no better colleague to join me today than Sedgwick's own Steve Powell. Steve is an executive vice president of Property Americas. Steve is a frequent media guest. You may have even seen him recently on Fox Weather, and he's a trusted advisor both internally and externally regarding cat season readiness and supporting our customers after weather events. Welcome to the podcast, Steve.
Thanks, Kimberly. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to talk catastrophe. It's that time of year. So I'm really excited to spend some time with you and this audience.
Awesome. All right. Let's have you introduce yourself, share your background so the audience gets a feel for you and your career path.
Sure. So, Kimberly, I joined Sedgwick back in 2010. So I've been here for 15 years and I've led a number of businesses within Sedgwick. Today, I serve as Executive Vice President of Property Americas, which includes all of our property services, and I manage our catastrophe operations as well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But the things that I lead and operate for our clients include things like our forensic engineering and fire investigation and environmental services through EFI Global, as well as our temporary accommodations, our temporary housing services, our repair services, mitigation, bill review, contents, valuation services, desktop adjusting, field adjusting. The list does go on. So it's great to be with you, and let's dive right into it.
Awesome. So you've provided some overview of your responsibility. Do you have anything to add just around Sedgwick's Property Americas services generally that might not have been included?
Sure. So Sedgwick's property services are robust, and Sedgwick is the world's largest provider of claims adjusting services, and that includes property, much larger than any other company on the planet. We have services across over 80 countries. My responsibilities include mostly the Americas, and those services range from large and complex losses. So the big broken buildings that you see on the news, Sedgwick's usually the loss adjuster in those events. But it also includes personal lines claims. So the thousands and thousands of homes that you see damaged from the tornadoes that you mentioned, the hurricanes, the wildfires, those are the types of events that Sedgwick does loss adjusting for, as well as the leaky sink and the tree that fell onto a home, those types of claims as well. Property also includes auto claims. So there are a variety of different services in Sedgwick's Property of Americas. It ranges from property, some casualty, auto side of claims, forensic engineering, fire investigation, building consulting, desk adjusting, third-party administration, valuation services, forensic accounting, building consulting. The list goes on. We like to call it everything under one roof. So all of the types of services that are necessary to take a claim from first notice of loss all the way through to adjudication can be provided by Sedgwick.
I am always impressed with the depth and the scope and scale of our property team. Can you give us an overview of the current state of catastrophic claims? What you're seeing out there?
Sure. So what we're seeing in the macro trend of a multi-year view of catastrophe is an increase in the frequency and severity of natural disasters. The indemnity spend is growing. It's exceeded $100 billion for the past 5 years in a row. We anticipate that the indemnity spend will be closer to $200 billion in 2025. This is due to an impact of climate change and changes within the insurance industry and the evolving regulatory environments that we see. On the micro level, in the last 18 months or so, we've seen a fewer number of large catastrophe events. And so loss ratios are back in the double digits for many carriers. And so that's a micro trend. But when we look at it and zoom out a little, what we see is over a 5-year trend, an increase in frequency and severity. And that's what we have to be ready for. Catastrophe season used to just be during the hurricane season. Now it's all year long. January started with wildfires, February went to tornadoes, and it just keeps going. So you always have to be ready. You always need to have a team that is ready to deploy anywhere and everywhere. And it needs to be large enough to handle the big events and the multiple events that are happening on multiple fronts simultaneously. That's where Sedgwick comes in.
Yeah, really good overview. What are some of the biggest challenges faced by our claims team with these types of claims?
With catastrophe, the number one thing is communication, and it needs to be rapid. So there needs to be a rapid response and a rapid resource allocation to the catastrophe response. We have to scale up quickly. So Sedgwick is benefited by having more colleagues, more claims adjusters with more experience than any other provider in the market. But even Sedgwick needs to have a resource and a platform of independent contractors to help us scale up for the even bigger events when they happen. So having a rapid response and resource allocation is one. Two is this coordination with multiple stakeholders. We have to communicate and we have to collaborate with them. That coordination requires both of those. And third, you have to do accurate assessments and document the damages. The speed and the accuracy of establishing reserves on large losses, as well as just claims completion and adjudication of the claim quickly on the high frequency claims, the smaller and higher volume claims that we see from the homeowner side and the auto side, is absolutely imperative.
Yeah, can you describe also? I remember when big events have happened and your team was able to very quickly add staff or have our staff assist insurance carriers. Is that something we're prepared for in 2025? If some carriers want to outsource some of their work to us, in a larger way than claim by claim?
Absolutely. So Sedgwick has, as I mentioned, one of the largest staffs, probably the largest staff of qualified claims adjusters to manage these types of claims. And those are our full-time employees and our colleagues. We also have an army of independent contractors that have registered with Sedgwick that have become part of our CAT response team. We built out a resource platform which allows them to register and become deployable assets to our clients. So that allows us to scale up very quickly and to deploy to events immediately. That's what's needed. In an event of a catastrophe, the first responders arrive and the claims adjusters are often referred to as the second responders. And that's what Sedgwick does. We're right there on the ground immediately after the event, and we've scaled up with the army of resources that are necessary to handle the claims.
Yeah, this surge staffing, I think, is super helpful. And I say that because we've had that in other parts of our business as well, but certainly in your business, extremely helpful to our customers. All right. How can risk managers and corporate executives, even insurance professionals, better prepare for these events to ensure they have a solid plan when the event actually happens?
So having a plan is the first step. So understanding the importance of a comprehensive risk assessment and planning for that. And that may be insurers, and insurers are in the business of handling claims. But there are property owners that have huge self-insured retentions and that their insurance does not necessarily kick in on dollar one. They need to have a comprehensive risk assessment plan. They also need to have partners involved with them. That can be their broker, it can be their agents, but it can also be their claims professionals as well. They also need to, secondly, have regular updates to those emergency response plans. It's important to be able to pivot in the event of a catastrophe. You need to have a plan and a contingency plan and be able to pivot in doing that. The third thing I would say that risk managers and corporate execs and insurers can do to better prepare for these catastrophic events is to collaborate with the insurance providers to make sure that they have the tailored coverages that are needed. Regulations are changing, policies are changing. It's important to have those regular update meetings, risk management, along with the insurers and the agents to make sure that their policies are tailored to their particular types of property and their business. Knowing your business and understanding the business interruption coverages and understanding what the recovery needs are, having a plan for mitigation after the event, it's all exceptionally important.
Thank you for that. Across our business, technology is playing a key role in providing efficiencies and adjuster insights. And I'm curious how technology is impacting our Property Americas business.
Kimberly, I was waiting for you to bring up AI because that's all anybody wants to talk about on interviews and media and podcasts. And so, yes, we have been implementing AI into some of our work processes. AI is a great tool. It is not replacing our people. What it is it's a powerful tool enabling us to be able to do deeper research, provide quicker answers, to be able to analyze the information. So we are leveraging AI and machine learning for faster claims processing, and we're providing more robust information. Another tool that we're using and how technology is playing into catastrophe, and something that Sedgwick has been leading the charge on really almost 5 years now, has been the use of geospatial informational systems and satellite imagery. So what we do is we use a powerful software called ArcGIS and layer in some open source data set information. And we partner with our insurance carriers and with the business process outsourcing and with some of the large corporations that provide us with their policies in force information or their property information. And we layer that information in. And then you layer also in that open source data around weather. So in January, it was on the wildfires in California. We were able to layer in fire information, wind information, wind speeds, smoke particulate. We were able to gather in information on pre-loss condition of buildings, post-loss condition of those properties, and map that through geospatial informational software. And additionally, add on Sedgwick's claim data that we were gathering in the field and remotely. And that layered and coordinated information through geospatial information is a powerful analytic tool for informed decision making. It's used for deploying our adjusters to the scenes. We're able to see road closures. We're able to see wind and water and flood information. We're using this during hurricanes. This information has been game changing for us to be faster and more involved, as well as more informed for our insurance partners, our corporation partners, and their customers. So those are some of the technology plays that we're doing. But then there's some real boots on the ground and tape measures and hammers and nails and shingles type things that are less technology based that we're using as well. We're using the benefits of managed repair networks, that's personal lines and homeowner claims, as well as in commercial properties, to really enhance and advance the recovery process. Because recovery is what's important in these events. The catastrophe has happened. How do you respond to that? The recovery process with real-time communication, real-time coordination with concierge, real estimate reviews that are timely and appropriate. We all know how the prices of materials and goods and labor fluctuates. Having real-time estimate reviews is exceptionally important, and then be able to back it up with Sedgwick's performance and with warranty programs.
Yeah, it's just amazing how robust it is, both on the technology side. Of course, our people are critical to the process. You mentioned a couple things. One is the repair network. And is that Cedric's own network, or do we have a partner for that, or is it a mix?
So Sedgwick has built out a repair network of over 2,800 contracting companies. So when I say contracting companies, I mean these are contractors that
Yep.
can come in and suck the water out, dry the building out, grab a hammer, grab shingles, and put a building back together and rebuild and restore a building. So we have roof siding and gutter contractors. We have mitigation contractors. We have restoration and repair contractors. So we have over 2,800 companies that have signed up. This isn't 2,800 individual people. It's 2,800 companies that have partnered with Sedgwick to become our network so that we can rapidly deploy for any type of property damage event, whether that's a leaky pipe that just happened or a major catastrophe event.
Thanks for that additional explanation. And then one more question to build on that. You mentioned concierge, and I'm not sure our audience understands our concierge program. So would you just share a little more about that?
Absolutely, Kimberly. So Sedgwick's Repair Solutions is a third-party administrator of the contractor coordination. So Sedgwick plays the quarterback for those claims. We provide a concierge level service. It's a project manager that plays the coordination between the insurance company and their adjuster, as well as the contractor, as well as the building owner or homeowner. And so those three entities need to communicate and share
Yeah.
information. Sedgwick provides a concierge to provide that communication portal, both as a human and having a person talking them through that claim, walking them through the process, explaining the next steps and what's going to happen, and providing a timeline for those, as well as digital information. So being able to provide portals for access, like when you order your pizza and you want to know what time it's going to deliver, a pizza tracker does that for you. Sedgwick can do that for you on your repair.
That's
And they can all,
fantastic.
and it is, and the concierge team is phenomenal. Smiles on their faces, walking you through some of the darkest days that you have. Something bad just happened to your property. You might be displaced. You might not be able to stay in your home. The concierge team connects you with our temporary housing team. They put you into temporary housing. They might get you into a hotel, but then they coordinate with the contractor to determine how long is this repair going to take and how long can we expect. If it's going to be a longer period of time, they can get them out of that hotel and into a longer term housing option that's a little more comfortable and a little more affordable for the insurance carrier, as well as more affordable for the policyholder. And so these coordination activities that are done by the concierge representatives, led by Melissa Goudreau on our team, she's phenomenal and has done a fantastic job building out a resourceful team that finds a way to get stuff done. So that's the benefit of that Sedgwick. It's really unique in the managed repair network side of claims. That is very unique to Sedgwick, a concierge level service.
That is really a great explanation. I've had the fortunate opportunity to mentor somebody that sits in that team. And I'll tell you, it's one of the happiest colleagues that I'd run into in a long time, and somebody that I believe will be with us for years to come. It is hard for me to believe that we are coming up on the end of the podcast, Steve. This is just been a fantastic conversation, but I really want to ask a couple more questions. One of which is, can you share a memorable example of a challenging claim, how it was successfully resolved or handled? And I know we have so many that maybe you'll share a few, but what's most memorable?
So the big ones tend to be very memorable. The ones that happen to someone that you personally know also are very memorable. Every claim is very personal. We handle some of the largest claims, and they're all memorable that way. The last week, the India air crash
Mhm.
happened, and it's a tragic event. Sedgwick's handling that claim. The Baltimore bridge collapsed when the barge lost power and fell into the water. Tragic event. Sedgwick's handling that claim. EFI Global is handling that claim. The Tropicana roof after it fell apart during Hurricane Milton, that was all over the news. It was the most iconic of losses. Sedgwick and EFI Global are handling those claims. So each of those, they all stand out.
Yeah.
And it's really, but they really stand out for me and for the people involved in those claims, because it's when these strategies get employed to overcome some of the impossible obstacles. How does that happen? And it happens because Sedgwick and EFI Global, they're able to bring this unmatched perspective by being so diverse and so global about their services and such a long history of claims. It brings this unmatched perspective. And it's really the leadership of the organization that has instilled a culture that permeates through the organization, just like the colleague you mentioned that you've been mentoring, this great attitude. That's a culture of yes.
Mhm.
Sedgwick finds a way to say yes. Yes, we can handle that claim for you. Yes, we've done that before. Yes, we can find a way to help you through the situation. Yes, it's gonna be okay. And when we do that, it's caring that counts. And that is really at the heart of everything that we do. Everything we do at Sedgwick, these catastrophes are awful, but we have the opportunity, the privilege to help someone through some of their worst days and find them to a better outcome in the end. And we do that through that unmatched perspective, that culture of yes, and through caring.
Yeah. So well said. So well said, Steve. I love your passion for the business, um, but maybe even more than the business is your passion for our people. And with that, I'd like to share with our audience that Steve's the executive sponsor of the Neurodiversity and Disability Colleague Resource Group here at Sedgwick, which is a fast growing resource group. And I've participated in the group as an ally and offering my support. And Steve, I'd like you to share what it means to you and our colleagues to be a part of this very unique and important community.
Well, thanks, Kimberly. It is. It's a privilege and an honor for me to serve as the global executive sponsor for our Disability and Neurodiversity Colleague Resource Group. Uh, it's an opportunity for us to foster a culture of support and understanding, as well as empowerment and embodiment of the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And we can do that for thousands of people and our leaders, as well as our colleagues that are making things happen with claims every day. 1 in 5 of them has some level of disability or neurodiversity. And these are often superpowers. Having disabilities is often looked at in a negative tone. And that's what we're trying to change through communication and collaboration. And together we can create a more powerful environment where everybody can thrive and they can contribute their best through belonging and through community. And honestly, it's through capitalism as well. We have some opportunities to put people with special skill sets into great roles that fit them perfectly and leverage those superpowers. And that's what the colleague resource group that I sponsor is all about.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. What a fabulous guest you've been today, Steve. I know our audience must have enjoyed the conversation and has a greater appreciation for Sedgwick's support and services in the area of property. And I just can't thank you enough for joining me.
Thanks, Kimberly. I look forward to doing it again sometime soon.
And to our audience, thank you for joining. Please be sure and hit the like and subscribe buttons before you leave the podcast so you never miss an episode. We have a number of amazing podcast guests lined up, so I'll be back with you soon. Take care, everybody.